Okay, in all fairness, I'm calling a mulligan. I'm going to switch up to GSP before I tie in the head. I also tied in rubber legs because I thought it'd make for a nice picture. So I just V-styled these, light V, hold them back, light V, whatever, right? So GSP, Vivus, 200 strand, gel spun. This stuff is manly, very manly. Basically, you can't break it. You can, if you're using like the 100 strand or something, you can pull it straight through your deer hair, so don't do that. Which is why I use the 200, which you can still pull through your deer hair. So still got to be somewhat careful, but a little bit more forgiving in that matter. And I'm actually going to use this time. It didn't work out so well last time. It worked out well, but anyway, back to the Primo strip. Not quite sure where I am because I'm starting over, but I was not happy with not using my GSP. So, cutting the hair, taking out the underfur, short fibers, everything we don't need. Going tips first into the hair stacker. I like to be nice to my tying bench, so I stack the hair on my hand. Get it good in there, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Pull them out, good to go. Clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up. Last time I tied it in a little bit too long, so I'm going to shorten this up. And I'm going to try to do something last time. Right, I tied in the butts a little long, and then I took a razor blade and I cut the butts super short. The reason why I'm not using the butts as part of the head is because they create a V and you'll get an air gap between your head and your collar, right? So I'm tying the collar in separately. I'm going to tie it in super close to the butts, and then I'm going to put another stack in front of it to trim the head. Okay, so that's the plan. So now we got gel spun Vivus. If you hold it as vertically as possible, not like this, right? But as vertically as possible, you should be able to catch with a loose wrap extremely tight to the butts and slightly compress it. Rinse and repeat that, slightly compress it. Rinse and repeat that, slightly compress it. Now you can let go, and you're going to follow your thread up to right underneath the eyes and straight pull down until you feel the hair cease compression, basically. Now I'm going to bring this up, throw a half inch in, and that's just to secure all that good stuff. I'm still going to cut those off with a razor blade, but dang, it's like perfectly proportioned. Good for me, pat on the back. So you come in with your razor blade straight down before, so right when I put my GSP on, I super glued everything that was already down there, so that if I nick something with the razor blade, nothing's going to get cut off this head except my current collar, which I can just repeat. But go nice and slow. Don't ruin your fly at this point, right? It'll be frustrating. You've already been tying a fly for 30 minutes. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. It's go time. But I keep pushing my thumb into this because I want the hair to slightly move down to the sides because I'm trying to create pectoral things, right? That's the purpose of this head. The purpose of this head is not to stack a super tight head that displaces water like a popper and dives and jerks. The head is a profile. The head is shapeable, trimmable, stackable, manipulative deer hair to create a sculpin head. That is the purpose of it being there. Now, it also slows down the front of the fly and allows the tail to articulate, which is nice. That's also part of the point. But not super tight stacking, right? Not super tight stacking. Just looking to shape it. Just looking to shape it. So, throwing a stack on the bottom. Let's get to work. Now, I did a little too much last time, so I'm going to thin this out a little bit. Probably, I don't know what a pencil is. I really don't. Hair. I'm using hair. Probably half a pencil. It's actually probably a pencil, but in my mind it's half a pencil. I think a pencil is really about a Sharpie. That's what I would call a pencil, because I'm crazy. So, it's going to be hard to come straight down on this, so you can switch hands, put it where you want it, and then hold it in place. Loose wrap with some compression, loose wrap with some compression, loose wrap, right? And then you're going to pinch the side so it won't rotate, and you're going to pull it right into your eyes. So that's going to be good to go. You can let your thread hang. Grab another little bit here. Clean these butts out. What is this soft music? Come on. There we go. Pressure tips off. Right, you can position it and then hold it in place. When you come through your bottom here, you're going to want to wiggle your thread. Try to catch the least amount of fibers as possible. Bringing it back behind the eye. Try to take the same path every time if you can. It's kind of difficult. And then wiggle your eye, wiggle your thread up to the front. A wrap and a half hitch. Woo! Booyah. Just the perfect amount of room to throw some hair in there, right? It's tight. It's going to be tight. I'll make it work. It'll be alright. So, using about the same amount that you had on top and on bottom is what you're going to use to spin right in front of the eyes. Now, you don't have to spin it. You can stack it, but this is one step instead of two steps, just so you know. So I'm going to spin it. And I cut that super short. I don't know why. But I'm basically just going to hold this kind of on my side of the eyes. The biggest thing is that you can catch the eye with your thread. I know you're in a shadow right there. But you just want to catch your eye. And then you can just flare that and let that spin around. And it's not going to be perfect. You'll probably get more hair on top than bottom, especially if you hold it on your side of the eye, because the thread torque will bring the majority up to top, and then you'll get a little stranglers on the bottom, but we don't need the bottom to look super perfect. Doesn't really matter. The head's what we're shaping, right? So I just horribly caught the eye there, trapped a whole bunch of fibers because I'm getting lazy. This is the second time I've filmed this, and I got to cut a bag to do my little bag trick here. So just enjoy the music. Okay, back to work. Oh yeah, good to go. What do I do with my scissors? Give me these guys. Get that bag out of there. Alright. I'm getting a little animated. Clean this up real quick. Alright. So now we gotta trim this sucker, right? Because we got deer hair all over the place. And we need a fishable fly. So, leaving it in the vise. Doing this the Kelly Gallup way, because I feel like it this time. Support your hand on the vise with your other hand, whatever you're doing. Smooth pull up to the eyes, straight pull back from the eyes. Flat. So already looks dungeony. Love it. Doing the same thing on the sides, basically. I'm just squaring up the fly. Usually I cut everything in hand, so this is interesting. But when I'm doing these side cuts, I'm not hanging super close to the eye. If you can see, I kind of flared it out behind the eye, right? That's the purpose. If you put the eyes up front, you can shape the head behind the eye. The diagrams. Remember the diagrams. And this hair that's in front of the eyes, like, it doesn't even matter. It has no purpose. Really, it doesn't matter. So don't worry about it. And then Kelly bends the razor blade and does some fancy magic stuff. I've never ever in my life gotten that to work for me. But let's do it because I'm filming. But basically you bend it to the shape you want, right? I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm taking this out. I gotta do my super short pull right angle cuts and then come in at the 45s. But one thing I can show you, I'm not done trimming this head yet, but there's no air gap, right? Because we did the head and the collar separately. So there's no V, there's nothing trying to get away from each other, and we didn't pack it super tight, right? Which is a way to avoid that, obviously. We just left the gap out of there. We removed the problem, baby. So now we got a head that we can shape, but it's also a head that's going to shed water, right? Booyah. Alright. So, basically what I did on the bottom, you just go up to the eyes and then you kind of just come down at a very slight angle and bleed it into your schlappen, right? You don't want to cut any of that schlappen. That schlappen's all your bulk and movement and bugginess. And then the top, I left it nice and big, sculpin head, profile, good deer hair collar for pectoral fins. You can see that you're able to shape the head when you keep those eyes up tight towards that eye. Right? If you buy a sex dungeon from Kelly, I don't know. Hopefully this is what it looks like. But that's basically an olive black dungeon right there with some brown contrasting rubber legs, peacock eye stub on the bottom, high contrast white eyes on a black head, articulated, two woolly buggers. That'll fish. Oh man, will that fish. That head is pretty dang good. I am proud of myself, if you cannot tell. I really wish I would stop saying stupid stuff that I'm going to post on the internet. But, hope that helps you out. It's a fishy bug. I'm talking browns, bows, smallmouth, largemouth, probably pike, whatever you want to do with this sucker. This will fish. Granted, look how proportioned that 2-aught looks. You're not scaring nobody. That's fish food right there. Yeah, I'm telling you, do not be afraid to tie on a 2-aught. A 2-aught is a small hook, people. It's a small hook. Look at this fly. Look at this. You see that? That's a big hook. That's a nasty hook right there. Look at this thing. This is tiny. Tiny little bug. Tiny little bug. Don't be afraid to go big or go home. Well, go big or go home. Or go big. Or go bigger. Seriously. You know what I tied the other day for brown trout? It's this craft fur T-bone that's about 7 inches long. Look at this thing. You know how big this thing is in the water? It's absolutely beautiful. And I would fish this for the rest of my life until I die and know that I will be a fat old man who's been well fed his entire life, because they are going to hammer the crap out of this thing. Granted, yesterday I took it pike fishing and I got one follow and I didn't get them to commit. But it needs to be tweaked a little bit. I'll tweak the recipe. Don't be afraid. It's the dark side. Once you go big, you never go back. Truth. Peace out. This is horrible.